So I want to get into this conversation about whether there really is a big difference in between real estate agents as it relates to you and getting a home for a better deal or selling your home and netting more money in the process. You know, are agents and the value that they offer actually resulting in more dollars in your pocket or a better experience? And so if you look at some of the ways that agents try to differentiate themselves, it's, you know, marketing, both inbound and outbound, meaning, our proactive outreach versus the reactive nature of leads that come to us through all the websites that we market on. It could be pricing, whether that be cost to you or their knowledge of how to price something effectively to create urgency and ultimately sell something for more money. It could be market knowledge. It could be transactional experience. A lot of people don't focus on this, but internal processes and support structure. Are they running their business like a business? In other words, if you were to show up at a day in their office, what does it look like? Is it everybody in shorts and flip-flops and it's chaotic, or is it organized? Is it a well-run machine? Nobody really puts any stock into that, and I'm surprised by it because it has a lot to do with the experience that you have as a buyer or seller, as an investor. In line with that, of course, is communication, which we all real estate agents really struggle with communication. They have for a very long time. I've been licensed for 16 years. It's consistently been one of, if not the top thing that people have issues with among real estate agents. And it kind of spills over into customer service in general. And then really one of the last things, I'm sure there are more, but one of the last things that agents rely on is just likability. And that's important. You know, you want to like the person that you're dealing with. They want to make the process fun. And, you know, there's no such thing. And I know I've said this on this program, but there is no such thing as a stress-free real estate transaction. It is an emotional process. It's not like doing a commercial deal or, you know, buying and flipping something. When you're talking about one family moving out of a house and another family moving into a house and everything that goes into that, you would be foolish not to admit that there's some emotion wrapped up into that process. And so someone's ability to help manage that and the expectations that come along with that it's a big deal. But I think that there are a lot of agents out there that are kind of missing the mark, if I would say, with regard to their own expectations of what they can do and their perceived value, and then what the public perceives as their value. But I want to tell you a story first. I'm looking at a new car, and I'm in my car fairly often. I like driving a nice car. I'm not the Dave Ramsey guy that's going to drive around a beat up truck that I don't have any debt on. If I wanted to, buy a car and not have a car payment, then I would if I was willing to stick with one car for a long time. But I'm the kind of guy that I lease something every 3 years, and yeah, I know that that's somewhat frivolous, but I don't spend a lot of money on myself. I spend money on my car, and we've got a nice place to live, and I play golf and fish, and a lot of my money's spent on just experiences and having fun these days, and of course my kids and wife. But I was calling over to a dealership and had a conversation with the guy. I told him what I was looking for. It was a very specific kind of car. And the conversation that I had with this person just reminded me of what most people must feel like when they're talking to a random real estate agent on the phone. This person was really only interested in the appointment. And for so long, not just in real estate, not just in car sales, but in just sales in general, think about how much emphasis has been put on the close, right? Close for the appointment, close for them to buy or sell something, gain commitment from them. And don't get me wrong, that's important. I mean, if you can't close or sell anything, you're not going to make any money and you're going to be out of a job pretty soon. But my team focuses a lot on the relationship, on adding value and earning the business over time. We offer before we request, is what we always say. And so I'm having a conversation with this guy. I tell him what I'm looking for, and he says, well, why don't you come on in? We'll talk about it. And I was like, well, I mean, do you have this car, or do you have access to this car? He's like, I'm not sure. It changes every day. Why don't you just come in? I said, well, I'm calling for a reason. I want to see if you have what I want. And if you do, then I want to test drive it. I don't want to just show up and not have anything to drive that I want to buy. And it just got to the point where it's like, can we please just set an appointment? Can you please just come in? And the desperation that I heard in this person's voice was a major turnoff. He was only interested in the appointment. And I'm sure it's because his numbers are being tracked, and his sales manager wants to see a certain number of inbound calls turn into a certain number of appointments, and every conversion ratio is being tracked. And I get that, and I respect that. But I don't, especially on my team. Yes, I put emphasis, of course, on our ability to convert opportunities into business, both for ourselves and for our clients. But there's a specific way you should be doing that. And what I am finding the longer and longer that I'm in this business is that I think agents tend to do the best they can with the skills that they have. But it was obvious with this particular conversation and trying to buy a car that he just had not been taught to do anything other than the way that he had been taught at that particular dealership, which was to try and cram an appointment down my throat. And I was not interested in that. And as somebody that's been in sales basically my entire adult life, that was a turnoff for me. So anyways, I ended up, kind of out of the blue, I ended up asking him out to coffee to see if he'd be interested in learning how to sell real estate. And it was a very interesting conversation, I'll put it that way. I offered some free training for him, which, if it was something that sparked an interest in real estate, then great, let's continue the conversation. But either way, it should be something you can use in your everyday life as somebody that sells cars for a living. He didn't take me up on the free training, and that's fine. But it just, again, it got me thinking about the relationship that agents either have or don't have with the people that they're talking to on the phone. And if you think about what's going on here in Charleston, I'm going to kind of like bring this back to real estate, which is why you're listening to this program. If you think about what's going on right now, we have over 8,000 people in Charleston with real estate licenses. Over the course of the past year, a little over 5,400 people recorded a sale. So we've got 2,500-ish people that have a license but haven't sold anything. Of the 5,400 that recorded a sale, over 4,000 of them sold less than one home a month. I'm here to tell you right now, it's tough to make a living in this business selling less than a home a month. So of over 80% of the agents in our market sell less than one home a month. To be in the top 10%, you have to sell 19 homes a year, which for some, that's a big mountain to climb. But it just got me thinking about the activity that agents are putting into their business and how you as a consumer view us and our value proposition. So I'm going to take a break, but I really want to kind of drill down for a moment on communication, because that to me is just one of the biggest challenges that we have in this industry. I want to talk a little bit more about that. I want to talk about marketing. What is necessary these days? Should we just be, if you're trying to sell a home, should you be going after somebody that's just offering less commission? Or does it make sense to pay for the agent that's going to do everything in their power, so long as those things make sense and actually produce results? Does it make sense to pay more commission? That's a kind of a touchy subject. I want to approach it head on. So stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. And WTMA.com. And remember, if you want to reach out to me and talk more about real estate you're interested in buying, selling, or investing, then I can be reached by phone or text. That number is 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009. Or check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.